Hi, I'm Stephen Leto, the VP of Operations at Zocks. I'm here to give you an overview of the Zocks platform. Zocks is an AI-based virtual assistant built for financial advisors. By using the latest advancements in artificial intelligence, we automate a significant amount of the administrative work advisors do every day. This gives your advisors 8 to 10 hours back each week to focus on their clients, strengthen relationships, and ultimately grow their book of business. Research shows that advisors spend as much as 50% of their time on back office work, things like compliance forms, opening new accounts, and responding to client emails when there's market volatility. We know it's really expensive to build out a support team to help. That's why we built Zocks. By automating that work with AI, your advisors are free to service more households and uncover more life events within their existing book of business. Ultimately, we don't just do work for your advisors, we help them give clients a much better experience. For example, Zocks fills out client intake forms so their clients don't have to. Let me show you how. What you're looking at is the Zocks Meeting Hub. We know that it takes advisors at least an hour to prep and do all of the follow-ups around a meeting. I want to show you how we can squeeze that down into 3 to 5 minutes. When you look at your upcoming meetings, you're going to see your calendar integrated. At the top of the screen, you can join a live phone call, invite your AI assistant to a last-minute meeting, or join a live meeting that you had to hop on. You'll have filters to view different calendar events, and then you'll have your upcoming meetings. Within your upcoming meetings, you can see the titles and the times. You can assign the meeting type to get the right level of data for the right conversation. You can run meeting prep, and you can choose which meetings you want Zocks to join. To give you a few different examples of how we help you prepare for meetings, I'm going to jump into a quick check-in. So you'll notice a few things here. The first is that for a check-in, we're giving you a narrative summary of what's going on with your client and their household. We're going to talk about who you're meeting with and what's going on in their life, give you a summary of their household, any financial goals they've articulated in the last 18 months, provide you with some conversation starters. So if the last time you met with them, they were really excited about a trip, we're going to remind you to ask them about how the trip went. We'll propose an agenda based off of a combination of your calendar and things that you might have said, hey, we should talk about this next time we meet in your past meetings. And then we'll go and grab any outstanding tasks and their current status and assignment, either from Zocks or your underlying CRM if you're saving those tasks or workflows over to the CRM. This is really helpful because you can get these emails out easily on a Monday and say, by the way, Zach, you still owe me these things before our meeting on Thursday. Can you make sure to bring in that blank check in your driver's license? Looking over at the right side of the screen, you'll see this is your first introduction to the Zocks AI assistant. The assistant is really your client intelligence kind of virtual assistant. It can do two main things. The first is it can answer any questions about the client. So in this case, we asked, does Zach have any kids? And we see some details about his newborn son, as well as the college savings plan that he's setting up and contributing to. It can also go and interact with the return set data. So in this case, we asked it to rewrite the email in a more friendly tone, and it went back and used a more casual tone, even added an exclamation point into the introduction. We know that your conversations vary. So the type of data that you would want going into an annual review is actually quite different from a check-in. So in this case, we've gone and pulled in custodial data to give you a more analytics-based overview of the financial assets for the client. So you can see we have a portfolio composition summary, recent transaction activity, tax law and cost basis details, performance summary gains and losses, as well as opportunities for rebalancing and cash deployment. On the right-hand side, we can go and ask questions about the portfolio data. We can make changes or ask for more information. One really important thing is you'll notice these numbers throughout the system. This allows us to show where that piece of data actually came from and deep link to the source for the data. This lets you make sure that what you're being presented with is actually the most recent fact, and it also lets you go and grab more information easily if you know that you're going to want to dig into a specific thing going into the meeting. Zocks is a no recording solution. So we've gone through the pre-meeting prep and how that helps you save time. But the next aspect is how do I actually run a meeting? So whether it's a phone call, a virtual meeting like a Zoom or a Google Meets, or it's an in-person meeting, Zocks uses the same architecture. We are live transcribing the conversation, so there is no audio video artifact of your client. We are not pulling down a transcript from that conversation. We are anonymizing it and then sending it to the LLMs for processing. They're going to do two things. One is they're going to give you a summary, and then two is they're going to structure the data from the conversation. Again, we've had advisors say spend up to 90 minutes processing notes after a meeting, and after being on Zocks for a couple of weeks, they get that down to 3 to 5 minutes. So let's jump into what a meeting result actually looks like. You're going to see here that we have a few different tabs. At the top of the screen, you'll see the basic data from the meeting. How long did the meeting run? Who was participated in the meeting? You'll have speaker percentages for who did what percentage of talking, which is a very interesting data point to track over time. And then you'll get into the results of the meeting. This first page is called the meeting summary. This is really your executive overview of the conversation and typically what advisors will save down to the client file as their books and records. It's going to give an overview on what the purpose of the meeting was, any assets or debt that are discussed structured by account, financial facts organized by the CFP framework. It's going to summarize the discussion. It's paying special attention to accounts, dates, numbers, things that are financially important. It'll grab any talking points from the conversations. These are things that the client emphasized that we want to track over time, because if the same things are coming up, we want to make sure to bubble that up in your pre-meeting prep so you know that this is something the client cares about deeply. Finally, we can go and structure the questions that are asked and answers that are given down at the bottom of the page. This is an interesting data point just to see if there are commonalities across questions being asked within your client base. On the right-hand side, you'll see your handy-dandy assistant. Again, this can interact with the underlying data, or it can go and answer questions, add more detail, those types of things. We'll dynamically grab any follow-ups from the meeting. And what that means is you don't have to say, I'll follow up on this, Zach will follow up on this, or prime the system. They're just grabbed from the conversation. And we'll also author a follow-up email. During the onboarding process, the advisor will upload a few examples of emails that they have sent as follow-ups, and then the system will mirror their voice and their tone, kind of how much detail they include in their follow-up emails, and use that to go and send an email that sounds like them in the future. One important compliance fact is we will never send PII out of the system. So even though you can say send email here, what it'll actually do is open up the default browser on your computer and need to be sent from there. That allows your email signature to be included and it to go through your compliance and supervision. Saving down to your CRM is really easy. We make it quite simple. You click Save to CRM at the top of the screen. You can make any edits that you want before saving. You select the contact or household and you click Save. Now, we know that many of you work in teams, and we want to support teamwork within the Zocks application and make it more efficient. So this second page is really geared towards if I wasn't in the meeting, but am responsible for some of the follow-ups, and I need to get all of the details from the meeting without having to ask the advisor any questions. So we're going to give you a more in-depth financial summary, include that follow-up email, any future meetings that need to be scheduled, all of the follow-up tasks. Then we're going to organize the financial facts and life facts by topic for the client. We build out a family tree. This actually aggregates across meetings. So if you talk about your kids in one meeting and your wife in another meeting, we're building out those profiles and tracking them across meetings. And then at the bottom, we're going to give you this full detailed financial discussion. This goes 15 minutes by 15 minutes, and it grabs every number, every date, every percentage, anything that could have a financial follow-up, and includes it in the note. One really cool feature is you can highlight anything in the results and click Explain. And what this is going to do is it's going to go comb through the data lineage. It's going to grab more information about that fact, and then it's going to say exactly who said what from the transcript. The use case for this is I'm taking care of a follow-up. Maybe there's a trade order, and typically I'd have to go and ask the advisor for a confirmation before executing it. But the advisor's in 6 hours of back-to-back meetings, so I can go see exactly what was said without having to ask the advisor any questions. This cuts back down on the asynchronous back and forth, and it means that your clients are getting the next steps in the client servicing much faster, resulting in a better client experience. Zocks isn't just going and taking notes, though. We're also structuring data in the background. So if you have your CRM attached, after your meeting, you can go look up the contact that you met with. And what this is going to go do is it's actually going to go and look at all of the data points you have in your CRM and see if there's any new information on that client. And it'll, with one click, allow you to update the client profile. Now, we know a lot of you are really good at keeping your records up to date. And so you're probably on top of what what accounts they have, if they have any rental assets, what their job title is. But this makes it easy to grab those secondary details that you might not be tracking. Now, you probably wouldn't typically put in the t-shirt size for your client, but it's really helpful when you go to run a marketing event where you're sending out t-shirts to actually already have all that data instead of needing to go and ask everyone. So we're just making the whole data ecosystem fuller and healthier. On the structured data topic, Zocks is also designed to work in different settings. So what you're looking for coming out of an intake meeting is quite different than what you're looking for coming out of a check-in. So you can see here that we're able to structure specific intake forms with data points and structured data for the data that needs to be used to open up new accounts for your client. In this particular scenario, we've actually gone and added on a form, which is pre-filling and can be sent to any authenticated HTTP endpoint to open up a new account, to process a beneficiary change, to process an address change. Now, what's really cool about this is that it actually aggregates across meetings. So if we jump over into the client profile, we'll see on the contact record that we're actually tracking the changes to the client profile across meetings. Not only the basic details that you would gather in an intake form, but also things like what are their financial goals? What are their current things they're saving for? What's going on in their life outside of their financial life from a recreation or from a job perspective? All of this has that same data lineage where you can go and look at the source data and deep link directly to it, and you can also see the history. This is making it really easy to track the changes of your clients over time. One great use case I just heard around this was a business that was going through kind of their succession plan. So it was a senior advisor that was handing off his clients to the junior advisors. And one of the things they said is, man, John knows everything about his clients. He's been working with them for 15 to 20 years. He knows it like the back of his hand and they love him. But we wouldn't say his notes are exactly up to date. And so using Zocks, they were able to go and get those profiles of who these clients were, what do we know about them, what do they care about, making that transition much easier without having to sit down with John and go through each of the clients individually. They're able to just do it over time using Zocks as John naturally met with his clients base, resulting in a smoother transition. All of this data goes and allows us to automate more of the interactions you have with your clients. John talked about his daughter who's going to college. And one of the things he's worried about is, do we have enough savings? So he wrote in and said, "Hi, Stephen, I'm worried about paying for college next year. With our daughter going to Cal Poly and expecting $30,000 per year tuition, can we cover it?" If you go and copy and paste that email to Zocks and generate a reply, it'll go look through past emails, all of your CRM data, as well as past information in Zocks to generate a reply for you. We know that editing content is much easier than creating it. So we find that for each email, we can cut down from 10 minutes to about 120 seconds. In this case, it actually combed through the CRM. It saw what their college savings plan was and that this is over plan, but that they do have some income coming from other sources that they can repurpose towards college savings, and asked to schedule a meeting. This was all done, as you saw, in about 35 seconds, instead of having to either ask someone else to go look through different systems or comb through them yourself to respond to that email. Again, this results in your clients getting answers to their questions faster and you being able to spend more time meeting with your clients and working on helping them with their financial health. From an enterprise perspective, Zocks has a very advanced hierarchy management system. What we know that as an enterprise, different parts of your business have different requirements. They might have different templates that they want to look at data from. They might have different forms that they're looking to fill out, or they might actually have different compliance regulations. So what we've done is built out a hierarchy-based system where you have total control. On the hierarchy page, you can structure your organization, or we can build this automatically from a SAML integration. From an account perspective, you can see the underlying accounts. You can see the account details, the team members we have on the accounts, invite new team members, remove them. And you also can draw account insights on what's going on with their client service model. So how many clients have they served over a time frame? How many of those are new clients that they're seeing for the first time? Their number of meetings, are they starting on time? Are they ending on time? And who is actually engaging with the clients most commonly? We will also roll these up across your business to give you both an overview of all of the users that you have on the system, your allocated licenses, as well as calculate your ROI on time saved by using Zocks. This is the number that I really care about. So after a couple months, being able to see all the time saved and how that's getting reinvested in the business is a great way for us to partner with our clients and show the value that their advisors are getting out of the system. That's all for today with our quick overview. We can't wait to give you a deeper dive, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.